for the audio, or you can even watch back. Giving players all the props, or put them on blast. We don't give no hot takes, only talk facts.
We're giving all our devotion, riding high on this wave of emotion. Going all out, yeah, cause this is our time. No, ain't no stopping us till we reach the finish line. All in, we came here to win. We're gonna give everything. S-I-C-K on the run. S-I-C-K, sick. On fire, we're ready to fight. We'll bring the house down tonight. S-I-C-K on the run. S-I-C-K, sick.
Play it on the car ride, play it when you lounge. X and O, you know that we can hold it down. Shout out to my man Sammy, got it off the ground. And to all the listeners tuned in right now, got debates, analysis, and speculation. This is sports talk for the new generation. You know where to find us, got a reputation. Sick podcast, your #1 sports destination.
Giving all our devotion, riding high on this wave of emotion. Going all out, yeah, cause this is our time. No, ain't no stopping us till we reach the finish line. All in, we came here to win. We're gonna give everything. S-I-C-K on the run. S-I-C-K, sick. On fire, we're ready to fight. We'll bring the house down tonight. S-I-C-K on the run. S-I-C-K, sick.
S-I-C-K is the sickest podcast. Tune in for the audio, or you can even watch back. Giving players all the props, or put them on blast. We don't give no hot takes, only talk back. S-I-C-K, 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 S-I-C-K.
All in, we came here to win. We're gonna give everything. S-I-C-K on the run. S-I-C-K, sick.
S-I-C-K, it's the sickest podcast. Tune in for the audio, or you can even watch back. Giving players all the props, or put them on blast. We don't give no hot takes, only talk facts.
We're giving all our devotion, riding high on this wave of emotion. Going all out, yeah, cause this is our time. No, ain't no stopping us till we reach the finish line. All in, we came here to win. We're gonna give everything. S-I-C-K on the run. S-I-C-K, sick. On fire, we're ready to fight. We'll bring the house down tonight. S-I-C-K on the run. S-I-C-K, sick.
Play it on the car ride, play it when you lounge. X and O, you know that we can hold it down. Shout out to my man Sammy, got it off the ground. And to all the listeners tuned in right now, got debates, analysis, and speculation. This is sports talk for the new generation. You know where to find us, got a reputation. Sick podcast, your #1 sports destination.
Giving all our devotion, riding high on this wave of emotion. Going all out, yeah, cause this is our time. No, ain't no stopping us till we reach the finish line. All in, we came here to win. We're gonna give everything. S-I-C-K on the run. S-I-C-K, sick. On fire, we're ready to fight. We'll bring the house down tonight. S-I-C-K on the run. S-I-C-K, sick.
S-I-C-K is the sickest podcast. Tune in for the audio, or you can even watch back. Giving players all the props, or put them on blast. We don't give no hot takes, only talk back. S-I-C-K, 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 S-I-C-K.
Turn up your volume. Because you're about to listen to The Sick Podcast. With Tony Marinaro.
55 seconds left in the penalty, a minute and 27 seconds left in regulation time. Boston 4, Montreal 3. Lafleur coming out rather gingerly on the right side. He gives it into Lemaire, back to Lafleur. Oh!
The sickest Montreal Canadiens podcast.
You're in the ball!
Sports entertainment like no other.
Rejoint, on lui fait perdre la rondelle, une passe devant. Et c'est le dégagement et ce sera la victoire des Canadiens. Coupe Stanley pour les Canadiens. Le 23e de l'histoire.
You found the dogs! John, you found the dogs! He found the dogs! And all together, they worked a young team to the top. And now, a 24th Stanley Cup banner will hang from the rafters of the famous Forum in Montreal. The Canadiens win the Stanley Cup!
Brought to you by Energy Transportation Group. Driven to be different. La Vida Tibi. Embrace your true nature. And Playground, your premier gaming destination. It's gonna be sick.
Marinaro on this Monday, August 18th. Thanks for watching, everyone, on YouTube, on Facebook, and on Twitter. It is the Sick Podcast, and tonight we're going to talk about Patrik Laine with Pierre McGuire. Why Patrik Laine? Well, because earlier today, some interviews took place with members of the Montreal Canadiens organization talking about the TV show, The Rebuild, of course, on Crave. And The Rebuild will have part 2, and it'll come out in 3 days' time. And there was a trailer that came out. There was a video that came out earlier today talking about or showing one of the videos that's going to be in Crave, and it's about the trade that brought Patrik Laine to Montreal. And of course, it was around this time a year ago, and Patrik Laine and a second-round draft pick came to the Montreal Canadiens from the Columbus Blue Jackets in return for defenseman Jordan Harris. And we're going to talk about that. The Sick Podcast is brought to you in part by Bittt, Tibi. They launched their new Ultra Lager. It's a refreshing, thirst-quenching beer, perfect for the summer with only 90 calories, 2 grams of carbs, 4% ABV per can, available in a pack of 6 to 12 in grocery stores all around the province of Quebec. It's ultra light and ultra refreshing. Also, want to talk to you about Accent Insurance Solutions. You know, all insurance isn't created equal, and you know where to find the right solution for you. It's an Accent Insurance. Accent doesn't sell insurance. They shop insurance for you to find the right product right on the money, whatever your insurance needs, home, automobile, or business. And you can visit their website, www.accentassurance.com. You can call them at 514-363-3636. Without further ado, I bring him in. He's co-host of the Sick Podcast, The Eye Test with Jimmy Murphy. He is Pierre McGuire. Pierre, how are you?
Excellent, Tony. How you doing?
Very, very good. Pierre, thanks for taking the time, as you always do. Pierre, I thought this was a good topic of conversation for this evening because once again, with the footage coming out and the Crave, the Rebuild Part 2 coming out on Crave in a couple of days, which, by the way, I had the honor of being asked to take part in the documentary as I did in Part 1, and I will be in Part 2 as well. So I thank the people, the production team, as well as the Montreal Canadiens, who I would imagine signed off on it. So thank you very much for that. Here's the video I want to show you.
Patrik Laine became that person that, we focused on.
Ken called me the day before the trade happened, just, to try to get my thoughts.
Just to kind of talk with your captain and make sure that this is something that is the right move. And we know hockey-wise what he's capable of doing, but just making sure our room was good with it.
I was all for it. He's an amazing player, has been for a really long time. And, I'm hoping we just get him back to where he was.
As soon as I heard that there might be a possibility to come here, I was all in. I told everybody right away pretty much that, this is where I want to go.
There's a lot of information there, Pierre, a lot. Jeff Gordon says, we targeted Patrik Laine. Kent Hughes says, it's important that I talk to my captain about it. The captain says, I was all for it. Just wanted him to be able to get back to 100% because, of course, he had a shortened season the year before. If I'm not mistaken, it was a shoulder injury, Pierre. And then in preseason, we all know what happened. He got hurt. It was a knee-on-knee in the preseason game versus the Toronto Maple Leafs, and he ended up coming back on the 2nd of December when it looked like his season could have been in peril, but he chose not to be operated, even though the first 2 doctors that he consulted with told him, you're going to need an operation. The third doctor said, I think you can get by without the operation. He was never at 100%. He probably wasn't at 100% of his conditioning at the beginning. He definitely wasn't 100% when he came back. His salary was $8.7 million. And although Kent Hughes is not the general manager who gave Nick Suzuki the $7.875 million per season, he would have liked to, in an ideal world, keep everyone under that number. But now he's going out, and he had done so with other contracts, with Caulfield, with Gooley, with Slavkovsky. But then he goes out and he makes that trade for a player who has a 2-year deal at $8.7 million. So there's a lot of information here, Pierre, that we can bounce around with. Let's start with the fact that 1 year ago, they targeted Patrik Laine. He was the guy. They were looking at him. Talk to us about all the reasons why.
Well, they wanted more offense. There's no question about it. The problem is that those better offensive days are probably behind him. Last year he had 20 goals. 15 of the 20 goals were on the power play. So, they're going to – he's not a 5-on-5 scorer anymore. He's a long way away from the 44 goals he had in his second year in the National Hockey League. He just is. That doesn't mean he's not a good player. He is a good player. They did things right as a management team. They did things right as a coaching staff. They asked their leader, is it going to be a problem in the dressing room? The leader said, no, we want this player here. So that's great. I thought they insulated him really well last year. Montreal, as you know, Tony, is a very tough media market.
Yeah.
I thought the Canadiens handled it really well. Patrik Laine is in the last year of a deal. It's put up or shut up time. The TV shows don't win you Stanley Cups. Great that Crave does this. I think it's awesome for the fans. That doesn't win you cups. You might win a Gemini Award, but it doesn't win you a Stanley Cup. So all this stuff is great. It's fantastic, but he's going to have to stand and deliver.
Did you think the Canadiens' power play it's an odd question, but I think people are going to understand why I'm asking the question, because there are statistics that actually don't prove what you think would be logical. Was the Canadiens' power play better or inferior with Patrik Laine?
I don't worry about that part of it, because I don't think you can blame one guy for the power play being good or bad. I just don't.
Uh-huh.
So here's what I'll tell you, because you can go check the tapes, and I'm sure a lot of people watching this tonight will. I told our good friend Mitch Melnick many times, I would be disappointed if the Canadiens' power play wasn't 23% or better last year.
Uh-huh.
It was less than 23%.
Yeah.
That's not an indication that it was a bad power play. I thought there were points during the season where the power play was really good. There were other points where, especially at the start of the year, where the power play was terrible. Where the power play started to really engage was getting Laine back, but also putting Lane Hudson on the first power play. That's when it really started to sizzle. So, you can't take just one part of it. It's a big, all-encompassing question. Do I think Patrik Laine is an elite power play scorer? I do. Like I said before, 15 of his 20 goals last year on the power play.
Pierre, realistic to give out 23% as a number, because 14 teams had better than a 23% power play in the National Hockey League, with 14 being the Washington Capitals at 23.5. Mm-hmm. The best power play in the National Hockey League, the Winnipeg Jets, were at 28.9, which is amazing. The Montreal Canadiens hovered just over 20%, at 20.1%, and they ranked 21st in the National Hockey League. But Pierre, Patrik Laine arrived on December 2nd and finished off the regular season. If I'm not mistaken, the Canadiens were in the top 17 or so before he arrived and finish 21st on the power play. Statistically, the power play was better in the first half of the season than it was in the last half of the season. Now I'm going off of not even half. I'm going off of the power play was better from the first week of November to the first of December than it was from December 2nd to the middle of April, which is odd because Laine arrives December 2nd. He actually scores, I think, 3 power play goals in the first 3 games. Lane Hutson becomes a first-wave power play player after about a month and a half or 2 months into the season. How do you explain that, Pierre?
Coaching. People didn't go to sleep on the Montreal Canadiens. People recognize that you got to take away Suzuki as a shooting and passing option. You got to take away Laine as a one-time option. You got to overplay on Hudson. So coaching is a big part of it from the opposition, not so much the Montreal Canadiens. Well, now I think there's way more comfort. You're going to have 2 power plays now in Montreal, and they're going to look different. Noah Dobson's going to run one. Lane Hudson's going to run another. I haven't talked to their coaches, but I can tell you right now, I coached for a long time, ran some pretty good power plays. I know exactly what they're going to do, but I'm not in their room. But that's what they're going to have to do. And so I think the Canadiens as a whole will be better this year. Patrik Laine's numbers should be better. I'd be really disappointed if the power play wasn't 24 or higher percentage-wise this season, because they do have 2 distinctly different looks. Based on, Dobson shoots the puck harder than Hudson. Hudson makes better decisions with the puck than Dobson. Suzuki's probably going to play the full 2 minutes on the power play. Slafkovsky's going to be a lot stronger and a lot better down low in the slot. Whether Laine's on the first power play or second power play, I don't know. But here's what I do know. The Canadiens are a real team. They're a real team. They're going to be a good team. But they need Patrik Laine to be the player that can be a 30-goal player and probably get 12 of his 30 goals on the power play. And if he gets more than that, that's great.
You talked about how other teams prepared for the Canadiens' power play. And yes, every power play should have several set plays, Pierre. But let's be honest. The second Laine arrived, and I mentioned I think he scored a power play goal in the first 3 games, it was obvious what the Canadiens were trying to do. Laine, a right-handed shot, set up in his office just above the left face-off circle.
He's Ovechkin. He's Ovechkin.
Correct. An office space that was previously occupied by Cole Caulfield. Cole Caulfield was no longer in that office space and found himself a right-hand shot on the other side. Yep. Now, Slafkovsky would be in the bumper. Nick Suzuki would be kind of like a rover and move around. And, the different plays they had, one would go from Lane Hutson from the point, who would pass the puck to Patrik Laine on the right-hand side. Another one would go from Nick Suzuki from the right-hand side, who was, not looking at Patrik Laine, but would end up passing the puck to Patrik Laine. Pierre, once teams started to figure out the Canadiens, as much as Laine was a weapon, should he have probably been either on the second wave or taken out of his office? What should they have done?
Well, the best power play I was ever around was in Pittsburgh. We had Larry Murphy, Paul Coffey, Joey Mullen, Mario Lemieux, Kevin Stevens. That was pretty much the first power play. And, we also had Mark Recchi. Eventually Mark got traded. Rick Tocchet came in. But I can just tell you, we had multi-dimensional weapons. So that matters. Having weapons on the power play matters a lot. I think I hate to tell coaches what to do because everybody understands their room better than I would.
You're not telling them what to do, Pierre. You're just giving a suggestion.
I'm just giving you an opinion.
Yeah.
My opinion is he should have been moved. It became too predictable. And so there's ways we had this talk as a group in Pittsburgh with Mario, and we moved him from the hash mark down to the icing line as a right-hand shot, and it opened up so much, and he thrived. It wasn't so much about goals with him; it's about just playmaking, and his composure with the puck was so good. I'm not saying I would have done that with Laine. I would have done something else with Laine. I would have probably put him in the slot, the high slot.
Yeah, but I was about to say, but I think I see you coming. I was about to say, Alex Ovechkin and Brett Hull never got moved But I know you would come back and say, yeah, but Tony, they're probably two of the best in the world to ever do it. I get you, right?
They are, and neither one of them is better than Mario Lemieux. Sorry. And if Mario could be moved on a power play, Patrik Laine can be moved on a power play.
I hear you. Yeah. Yeah. So moved where?
I would have put him in the bumper, but not as a playmaker, as a shooter, because then people have to overcommit to him in the high slot. So it's a different type of bumper position. You run a 1-3-1 power play. The best example of the 1-3-1, and it's got a Canadiens tie-in too, by the way. Guy Boucher ran the 1-3-1 power play. Now I know it's different because it's the National Hockey League versus the World Junior. But if you go back and watch the tapes of the 2009, now I know I'm getting in the weeds and people are saying you're crazy.
Okay, yeah.
All you do is watch hockey. Yeah, that's all I do. That's right. And I'm telling you right now, the 2009 World Junior team in Ottawa, with Guy Boucher running the power play and Pat Quinn running the bench, they ran a 1-3-1. And I'm telling you right now, it changed power play ideology all around the National Hockey League, that 2009 World Junior team. And I would have taken tapes out of that. But again, not everybody has that experience, Tony. Like, with all due respect, Ken Hughes was an agent. Jeff Gordon wasn't running an NHL team. He's never been a coach. So, Marty St. Louis was playing in 2009. So, it's different. You're talking about different viewpoints just because of experience.
Yeah, I've loved in the last decade or so, I've loved Tampa Bay's power play. And they have a couple of set plays, and one of them is Kucherov hangs out on the right wall, and Hedman's at the point, and Braden Point's in the bumper. And it's a set play that goes from Hedman to Kucherov, and Kucherov fakes shot, and he goes to bumper to Braden Point, who ends up being a trigger guy. But they have other plays as well that they do, because when that's not working, Kucherov actually makes his way over to the other side, and sometimes they're looking for the player on the left-hand circle. And I love Tampa Bay's power play. I find that one of the things they've done in the last 10 years, probably better than most teams, feet always in movement. Like, that power play is not static. The guys are moving their feet all the time.
Yeah, they are. You're forgetting one thing, though. Steven Stamkos was there for a long time, and he was playing the Ovechkin, Laine, one-timer role, Brett Hull. And so people knew they had to overcommit there, and that created way more space for Hedman, created way more space for Braden Point, and way more space for Kucherov. And if you go watch some of the tape, again, when Kucherov and Stamkos were really running it, they were running it. The cross-box feeds from Kucherov to Stamkos, there's no team in the league that could do that. So this is my point on this, is that unless you have unique talents, you can be the best coach in the world. Look, I went from being a big part of the Pittsburgh power play to going to Hartford, and I tried to implement the same ideology. That wasn't happening. Sorry.
Conclusion, you can't make chicken salad out of chicken feathers.
Yeah, that's pretty fair.
Because you know what? Your point is well taken. But this year, minus Steven Stamkos and Jake Gensel probably in that office, Tampa Bay's still fifth best power play in the league at 25.9%. I mean, they have some great players, but the guy that is the engine, I think, for the power play, correct me if I'm wrong, is one of the best playmakers to ever play the game, Nikita Kucherov.
Kucherov. So that's what I'm saying. The cross-box feeds from Kucherov to Stamkos back in the day, Tony, there's no team in the league that had that ability.
Let's bring up Patrik Laine's hockey DB if we can. All right, so there you have it. Here's a guy who has scored in the past 36 goals in his rookie season, 44 goals in his next, 32 is next season, 28 and 68 after that. And, of course, that was pretty much it in Winnipeg. Then he finds himself the Columbus Blue Jackets, 10 and 45, 26 and 56, 22 and 55. 6 goals in 18 games a couple of seasons ago, and last season with the Canadiens, 20 goals in 52 games. Pierre, out of those 20 goals in 52 games, that's something, Pierre, because that translates to a 32-goal season on an 82-game season, okay? Those are great stats. But 5v5, like 80% of those goals are on the power play. So, 20 goals is nothing to spit at in 52 games, Pierre. Once again, it's an average of 32 goals in a season. But what was your take on the season Patrik Laine had last year for the Canadiens?
The hype was amazing at the start because he was so darn good. But then the hype went away when he started tailing off and people started to see there was a fundamental flaw in his game and he couldn't defend. I remember talking to you on your show last summer when he came to Montreal. And one of the things I said to you is the offense isn't going to be a problem. It's going to be the defense. And I think it's plus minus last year. Correct me if I'm wrong. It was minus 14, if I remember correctly.
Let me see if I find it here.
Yeah, it was minus 14 last year.
Yeah.
So he had 15 of his 20 goals on the power play.
Yeah.
So that's not giving you a plus. But look at that minus. That's a significant minus on a team that's very defensively conscious.
Yeah. It's also minus for a player who I think is it safe to say that for most of his career has been a blue line in player?
Yes, that's a great statement. That's a really strong, smart statement, and I agree with that 100%. Here's one more thing. I just want to.
So I want to ask a question for you,
Yeah.
former coach. Is that are there certain players in a lineup that if you know that they're a blue line in player, and maybe every team has one or can use one, that you'll pay less attention to their plus minus than another player on the team because you might have to close your eyes every now and then?
You do, but if you're an elite team, you can't. And the reason why you can is because at a key time in the game when you put them on the ice, you might break down defensively, and that could cost you a game. And I'm not trying to take pot shots at anybody, but that people wonder, how come Toronto hasn't been able to be a better team? Stuff like that. So standards matter a lot.
You're saying they got to make Austin Matthews more responsible?
No, Austin's very responsible. Not Austin. It was other players. Austin's an amazing defensive player. He's one of the most underrated defensive centermen in the league. He really is. He's fantastic defensively, centerman. But here's what I'll say is it's just that Patrik Laine wants to play a lot. It's a contract year. He's got to put up or shut up. He's got to be a lot better than what he was last year.
Will he be on the first wave of the power play? Because if he is, Demidov won't be there.
Well, that's why I'm going. I don't know. Look at it. I thought Lane Hutson should have been on the first power play at the start of last year, but they made him pay the toll to get there.
And I think Demidov is the Canadiens' Lane Hutson, but only as a forward.
Yeah,
I think
agree. So I think they'll make him pay the toll too. So this is something I'm really shocked.
So you're thinking they're going to go with the hierarchy also for Demidov, and it'll take about a month and a half or 2 months before we see him.
What I'm really shocked at, I'm really shocked about this with the professionalism of the media in Montreal. I'm shocked I haven't read one thing where somebody's asked Marty St. Louis the question. Back in the day when you guys were in Tampa and the team wasn't very good, a lot of the players complained about certain guys staying on the power play for a full 2 minutes. What's your philosophy on that? You were there. Not one media member has asked him that question. I find that shocking.
I'm trying to think of who used to play the full 2 minutes when he was there.
He works for Montreal right now.
Vinny LeCavalier.
Correct.
Yeah. But they gave that to Suzuki down the stretch. They asked him to
different. So when Tampa was losing all those games, when those guys were breaking in, that's what they were doing. Montreal was winning, and they needed him because they didn't have anybody else to do it. And part of the reason why is Kirby Dach wasn't able to get the job done. Then Kirby got hurt.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
I love the Canadiens, and I know they obviously the playoffs, but I thought Demidov took another step in the playoffs once they in games 3, 4, 5. Once you started to see him on the power play, I like the power. It looked a lot better. I was in Washington for Game 2 of that series, and everyone in the building knew the Canadiens were passing the puck to Patrik Laine on the power play. It was way too predictable. Now we've talked about it, right? It was way too predictable when they would pass the puck to Ovechkin and Brett Hull as well. But you're talking about guys that did it better than anybody else, right? One of the most magical moments in Canadiens playoff history happened in 2010. The Montreal Canadiens beat the Washington Capitals. Yeah.
And who were the heroes from Montreal? Yaroslav Spacek, Josh Georges, and Roman Hamrlik. And why were they the heroes? They were the heroes because they were the guys in the penalty kill that got in Ovechkin's face and blocked shots like unbelievably super tough guys.
Hal Gill was an unsung hero as well.
He was.
Yeah.
And you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah,
so Montreal.
Michel Bergeron joked back in the day that when he took a look at the stat sheet at the end of the game, Pierre, he said, this guy's got 8 block shots. This guy's got 7. This guy's got 6. You would think this team has 4 goalies, he said. And it was
I did all the games with Gordon Miller. I know exactly what went on. And it's why I'm saying, like, you can be as it's football's different, okay? The Green Bay Packers used to go to the line of scrimmage, and they used to tell the other team, we're running at the right tackle, so just be ready. They tell you, and you know why they were able to do it? Because they were bigger, stronger, meaner, and more fierce. And they did it. In hockey, you can't do that.
I hear you. All right, okay. So now where did Patrik Laine stand as far as Montreal Canadiens are concerned? We're going to get to that in just a second, not before I talk to you about some of our sponsors. Where will the Canadiens, how many goals are the Canadiens going to score next year? How many 30, 40, 50 goal scorers are they going to have? Are they going to have a 50-goal score? Go all the way with Betway. Get a free bet up to $200. First bet, lose it. Scan the QR code on the screen or click on the link in the details section to create an account. Redeem your welcome offer. Offer is only available for new customers. Terms and conditions apply. Offer is not available in Ontario. Must be 18 years of age and older. And please play responsibly. The Sick Podcast also brought to you in part by Playground. If you haven't really played poker until you played at Playground, voted Fan Choice Best Poker Room at the 2025 Global Poker Awards. Enjoy free drinks at every table, free food at all cash games and daily tournaments, plus the biggest events in the game, like the World Poker Tour and the World Series of Poker Circuit, landing at Playground August 18, which is tonight. Don't miss your shot at the world record Bad Beat jackpot, now closing in at $1 million, just minutes from downtown Montreal across the Mercier Bridge. It is Playground. And also, shout out to Energy Transportation Group, a leading full-service logistics provider serving all of North America. They are driven to be different. Patrik Laine stats vis-a-vis his teammates, where he ranked on the Montreal Canadiens. There you have it. Nick Suzuki had 30 goals. Cole Caulfield had 37. Slavkovsky had 18. Gallagher had 21. A couple of 15s, Josh Anderson and Alex Newhook. A 13 for Jake Evans. Patrik Laine had 20 goals, 15 of which were on the power play. In terms of points, Patrik Laine was the Montreal Canadiens' 2, 4, 6, 7th leading point getter, just 3 points behind Jake Evans, but he played 30 games less. Pierre, statistically, it's a good season. You talked about the minus 14. It's well noted. There's something we haven't talked about, and that is his game shape, his health 1 year ago. Patrik Laine spoke to a newspaper out of Finland. This is what he had to say. Let's bring it up. I've been able to train well and above all be healthy for the first time in a long time. It's been a big thing now that I haven't had to struggle with minor injuries or other challenges. Let's tackle this one. I've been able to train well, above all be healthy for the first time in a long time. It's been a big thing now that I haven't had to struggle with minor injuries or other challenges. Next graphic we bring up, Patrik Laine. Last summer, I think I trained for 3 weeks before the season. Yikes. Last summer, I managed to train for maybe a month and a half after shoulder surgery. Now I've been able to train full-time since May. It's a bit of a different starting point for the season when you don't have to start out recovering. Pierre, is that what plagued Kirby Dach last year as well?
I can't speak to that. I think everybody's different, and I don't think Kirby Dach had the same off-ice issues as Patrik Laine had.
I hear you.
And so I have a lot of respect for Patrik and what he went through. And I will never belittle that. I think it's really important to acknowledge that the player had other issues besides health.
Yes, correct.
Mental health matters a lot.
Yes.
I don't think Kirby Dach went through those things.
No, I was alluding to his game shape because it looked like Kirby's pace and cardio was a little bit off as well.
I think, with all due respect to Kirby, I think it's always kind of been like that.
So think about this, Pierre. Last year, their goal was to put two guys together who were not at 100% in terms of game shape, in terms of pace, in terms of cardio, in terms of speed. And ultimately, Patrik Laine got hurt. But when he came back December 2nd, you could tell, like his first couple of shifts, his first couple of games, first couple of weeks, he was gasping for air. You could tell that he was not at the top of his form, and neither was Kirby Dach. And so if the Canadiens can have both of them healthy, but then again, we're getting word that Kent Hughes is saying that it's not a gimme that Kirby Dach's going to be 100% for the start of the season. It might take a couple of weeks into the season before he comes back. So it's going to be interesting to see where they are at with their game shape.
I think the Canadiens are a really good team. I do. I think they're a very good team. I think they're going to be an outstanding team this year. They've got tremendous depth going forward. Their defense is outstanding.
Can you define outstanding team? What will that when you say I think they're going to be an outstanding team this season?
What was their point total last year? 91 points last year?
That is correct.
So I think they'll be better than 91 points. I think they'll push almost 100 points.
So if they push 100 points, okay.
I don't think they'll finish ahead of Toronto in their division, but I think Ottawa and Montreal will be significantly better.
A 7-month season, they're going out and they're getting one more overtime loss per month. That's very doable. That's very realistic.
I think both teams, Montreal and Ottawa, will both be better. I really do. But they both have deficiencies. Like Ottawa's got a problem on the right side of their defense. Montreal's got a problem with their second center, and they still have to figure out who their third center is going to be. So every team's got little, blemishes. That's fine. That's part of the building process of a season. I think the Canadiens have done an amazing job. I really do. And maybe down the road, I know everybody's in love with Carey Price, as they should be. Maybe down the road, Jacob Fowler is going to be the guy that everybody's going to say, oh, my gosh, we had no idea how good this guy is. I told you a long time ago, Lane Hudson's going to be a star player in the league. And a lot of people laughed. Well, they were wrong. None of them apologized. And here's what I'll tell you. I think down the road, the Canadiens are setting themselves up to be an amazingly good team. Amazingly good.
Yeah. This was not part of the agenda tonight, but I'm going to ask you a question anyway, because we know that you were the president of the Lane Hudson fan club, and you're looking pretty good with that one right now. You are the president of the Jacob Fowler fan club. Mm-hmm. Jacob Fowler's had amazing stats in college hockey. Caden Primo had amazing stats in college hockey, but it wasn't able to translate at the National Hockey League level. What's the difference?
I think there's just a focus difference. It's not a knock on Caden at all.
Mental.
Yeah.
Mental toughness?
Yeah. I don't even know if it's mental toughness. Tony, before a lot of our listeners or viewers were aware, I watched a guy at 16 years of age named Marty Brodeur. He was really good. But there were a lot of really good goalies. Marty Brodeur in the 1990 draft was a 20th pick overall.
Yeah.
He was second goalie picked in that draft. The player that was picked before him is Trevor Kidd. What's the difference? Calgary took Trevor Kidd. New Jersey was smart enough to get Marty Brodeur. What was the difference? One guy was focused and really plugged in all the time.
Yeah.
The other guy was an amazing athlete with good size and just wasn't as mentally aware. And
I have another difference. Trevor Kidd didn't have Lou Lamoriello or Jacques Lemaire.
Yeah, that's all fair. That's very fair.
Or Stevens and Niedermeyer.
What's that?
Or Stevens and Niedermeyer. That helped too.
Or Danico. I mean, you can go down the line. Bruce Driver. There are a lot of them.
Rafalski.
But Jacques Caron was the goalie coach in New Jersey, and he was really special. He was really, really special. So, anyways, what separated? I told Scotty Bowman this on the draft floor because he knew how much I liked Brodeur. And I told him, I said, Kid's really good. Like, I'd seen Kid play a lot, and I thought he was really good. I watched him play many nights when he was with Brandon in particular, and I was like, wow, this kid's getting pulverized. But Brodeur was just better because I think he was more mentally aware. And I think the difference between Caden Primo and Jacob Fowler is I think Jacob Fowler is more plugged in mentally.
Couple of events I want to let our listeners and our viewers aware of, and then I'm going to get back to Patrik Laine, which is the topic of our conversation and ending. I want to bring up the golf tournament if I can. Montreal Special Needs Family Organization. Maddie Pettigrosso is the person to call at 438-860-6663. I would imagine the golf, which is going to take place on Saturday, September 6th at Club de Golf Napierville, is probably sold out by now. but you can definitely donate to a great, great cause. If you want to help out in any way, shape, or form, I'm sure she'd be more than happy to hear from you. She's been doing amazing things with this organization. Contact Maddie at 438-860-6663. Montreal Special Needs Family Organization for families that have children with disabilities, of course. On to another event, and this is a music event for your pleasure and for your entertainment, live in Montreal. The Esteriori brothers, who have come here before on in a smaller theater, now are ready for the big show at Place des Arts. They're that good. They're that versatile. They're extremely popular in Italy. They're coming September 16th. Go out there and support and help keep our Italian culture alive. It's an 8 p.m. show at Place des Arts. You can scan the QR code, or you can go to the website for more ticket information at www.vivavanti.com. Vivavanti.com. This courtesy of Vive Avanti Entertainment. Okay, Pierre, on a podcast that we had some time ago, you said to me, Patrik Laine has to be on your second line because you don't change the first line of Suzuki, Caulfield, and Slafkovsky to start the season. And Patrik Laine really doesn't suit playing on a third line or a fourth line where, of course, there's more role players involved. So you have him on your second line. Are you starting Ivan Demidov on that second line too, Pierre?
It depends what I'm doing with the centerman. Are they moving Zachary Bolduc to the center, or what are they doing with Bolduc?
Would you? Would you move Bolduc to center on the second line?
I probably would not to start. No, I would not.
Neither would I.
So a lot of this is going to happen after we find out exactly what the Canadiens roster is going to be. And I think part of what you're going to find out long-term is, do they trade Carey Price's contract? Are they able to do that?
If they are, they're going to do it.
And if they are, they're going to do it. And once they do it, they're going to make another trade.
They could breathe easier at that point, and it gives them a lot more flexibility.
Yeah, that's what's going to happen. So it's too early. Like I wish I could be Nostradamus to you.
Yes.
I can't right now just because I don't know what they're doing with Price's contract.
It's okay, Pierre, because when they do trade it, we're going to have another podcast. Thanks for doing this, Pierre. I appreciate it. Thanks, Pierre.
Anytime for you, Tony.
Have a great night. There you have it. Pierre McGuire of the Sick Podcast, the Eye Test. Special thanks to Energy Transportation Group. Special thanks to, of course, Playground. Special thanks to Tibi, to AXA Assurance, Accent Insurance Solutions, and special thanks to Betway. Special thanks to all of you for watching and listening. Leave us a 5-star review. It's our way of feeling the love. For Shane Gameau and Master Control, it's a Sick Podcast. I'm Marinaro.
And that's a wrap. Hope you don't miss us too much until next time. Follow the Sick Podcast with Tony Marinaro on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, Google Play, and Apple Podcasts. The Sick Podcast is brought to you by Energy Transportation Group, driven to be different. La Vida TB, embrace your true nature. And Playground, your premier gaming destination.